Nana Emmanuel, Bongo Azambene Planning Committee Chairman. Azambene is a festival celebrated by the people of Bongo. Initially, it was only Bongo Central who were celebrating the festival. But now, with the current chief, since it was enskined over 15 years now, he decided to make it a district-wide festival. And from that one, he actually attached something to it, like endowment fund, whereby we have a very big deba. Funds will be raised so I can use that funds to develop his kingdom. So for 10 years now, he actually taxed the chiefs from the various communities in Bongo that they should have representatives. So I first came, I was appointed by the chiefs of Zoko to come and represent the people of Zoko on the planning committee. Somebody came from Namon zone, Valley zone, Bion zone, Son zone, all the zones. So after getting those being the zone representatives, he then made some appointment using institutions like Ghana Education Service. He had a rep there. National Culture, somebody was there. People's Disability, he has so many, so about 15-member committee who were put in place by Paramount Chief of Bongo 9 years ago. And this one, it included the district Deba, which we used to have it. Now, what happened was that when he actually started with our representatives, he decided to have what we call Education Endowment Fund attached to it. We were able to raise funds. We went to Accra in the year 2012 and we did a launching in Accra. We came back every year, we have been doing it. So I'll say this festival have actually brought a lot of developmental projects into Bongo. Now the people of Bongo are lucky to have a radio station. It has Azambene who had a lot of proceeds and they use it to support the Bongo Community Radio Station. Quite a number of students were being given sponsorship, were given some support. The year 2016-2017, as many as 18 students were given financial support. 16 of them were given 500 Ghana cedis each, and 2 others were given 1,000 Ghana cedis each. So that year, an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis were given to the students, supported the students in the various institutions, in university, training colleges, and the nursing training that will give the support. And this Azambene, the Paramount Chief, through his initiative, we have been using to preach a lot of peace. So if people can actually listen to the Bongo, it is one of the most peaceful districts in the region. We are fortunate to have one Paramount Chief with over 40 sub-chiefs and divisional chiefs. So through Azambene, this is a time we come home to actually talk much about it. But to give a little background about it, understand over 300 years ago, this particular land was occupied by the people from the Bisa land. So when they were here, a hunter called Awobko, came around and he saw this land. And he realized that during his game, he saw this land. This land is actually a fertile land. He wished he could settle on this land. So based on that one, he went to Nayire. But when he got to the stream to cross to Nayire's house, because of he was in hunting Garrido, the children ran away, leaving a small boy. So when he got there, the small boy led him to the king of Mampuku in those days. So he went to Nayire, he slept, and the following morning, he told Nayire that he has actually saw a vast land at this community called Bongo. But what can he do to conquer the people and take over the land? So based on that, the next morning, Nayire then called all his sons and asked them that he should select one of them who will come with him and fight to conquer the land. This man called Awobgo, who was a hunter, saw this small boy among them and said, I want to go with this small boy. And he said, you have seen elder of my sons, and I'm not talking about them, and rather going for the youngest among them. He said, yes. He said, when I got to the stream, all of them ran away, leaving the small boy. It means he's somebody who is bold. So based on that one, the chief actually agreed, and then the boy came with Awobgo to this land. But when they got here, they said, what can we do to conquer? So they said, the only thing we can do to conquer this land is that let's look for some dry grasses, tie them round. In the night, when the people are asleep, we go around the trees and then tie them on top of the trees. So at midnight, we actually light them. When you light them and the fire is burning, they will stand at the center of the town and then give some warning shots. So through this is what they did. They actually tied them at some vantage points on trees. So in the night, getting to 9-10, when people were about to sleep, they lighted them and then they actually gave warning shots. When the people were asleep and then they woke up, they saw a lot of trees. So when they saw the fire burn, they thought their colleagues' houses were burning. So virtually, they ran away, leaving all their belongings. They didn't go with anything. Their animals were left behind. So the next morning, he went into fact, he had now conquered the place. So they came. But the Bongo, as we told, is I think it's a name of a pattern in Goran which we call Bohne. So when they came and they settled out where we used to have our rituals, they said who and they saw this pattern come out from it, which is called Bohne. So they said Bohne, okay, it means this place is called Bohne. But when the white man came, we could not mention any of the time, but I said it's called Bongo. That's brought about Bongo. So every year, we need to actually commemorate our festival by lighting the fire to signify that we have actually conquered the land and we are now occupying it. So the Paramount Chief now, through his initiative, have actually made a district festival and it's actually benefited us a lot. I can cut so many development projects, we have benefited from it. So under the head, Green Bongo, which trees have been planted in Bongo town. We heard much about this education and welfare that I talked about. Quite a number of people have been actually supported in terms of education. The radio station is there, which is a very big legacy for Bongo. So based on that one, anytime you open your radio, then the 3.1, it means you are talking of Radio Bongo. It's the initiative of Bongo, through the principal of Azambene, the assembly support, and the natives of Bongo, who contributed 50 pesos per female and 1 Ghana cedi per male, which have brought this radio station to Bongo. So we see that the festival have actually done a lot. Now I can't go deep, so I think the rest, you take it from the linguist of Bongo, who can actually give the deep of it. So thank you. Once again, Hon Atindaana Emmanuel is my name, the planning committee chairman of Bongo Azambene Planning Committee. And today is the day we are actually going to light the fire tonight, and then tomorrow morning we are going to have the ritual being performed. After the rituals, we should have the Deba. But because of COVID-19 restrictions, we are all going to celebrate the rituals tomorrow to make sure that we celebrate with social distancing should be observed. There shouldn't be, too much merrymaking and other things. But at an appropriate time, if the president is able to lift the restrictions, we'll find an appropriate day, they will actually call in for the big Deba to actually be celebrated in Bongo. So on this note, I would say, appealing to our neighbors, those outside Bongo district, they should allow the people of Bongo to celebrate our festival based on the rituals which we are going to perform tonight and tomorrow. But at the appropriate time, we will actually give the date so they all come and they will see the culture which is being awakened in Bongo. They come and see the beautiful culture of the people of Bongo. Also, once again, thank you. From my speech, I said I can't say much about it. But on our screen now is the chief linguist to the Paramount Chief of Bongo. And he knows the tradition, he can actually give the tradition into details. So I introduced to you the linguist of Bonaba, which is popularly known as Kana. He will say it in the local language, so we'll interpret it later. So once again, we introduce the chief linguist of the Paramount Chief of Bongo, which we call our Nabakana.
Bonaba Kana. Mande Bonaba Kana. The Yentokole Azambene Yara. Nagare Tuma Igua Tuma Pate Baetma. The Tuma Mowo. The Baruma me change pas à tout, Tiavuma change pas à tout. Ba me change me Bobama, the Bam change Boba beat, Bam change Boba beat to a pagina. Ma eagle walk tɩ la Azambene la tɩ ba pĩ'in la de la wʋbgɔ n wa n kalana boon wa na a de la tʋʋsa ɛɛra a nɛnɔ wa kɩna paane tɩ bo-sãs n bo tẽngã pʋga bo-sãs me n bo tẽngã pʋgã la moor la kɔn zuɣume bɩ bãmb me ba yɛl ba ka lɛn taaba bila la tɩ a wʋbg la ka zĩ'a tɩ bo-sãs la bɔtɩ tɩ ba kare ba ka mi'i tɩ eŋa me ka mi'i bãmb ka wʋn taaba tɔgɔ a wʋbg la isg yetɩ niraba wa n daan eŋa sewa eŋa na leb la ne leelgo kẽn ka paa a n yisgd la a sɩd we la ne leelg la kɩna ka paa kolga pʋgã kolga la an kɔa ka pusa kolga la pʋgã la tɩ pɔgse la biisi ba zo'ome kɔm bana kolga la pʋgã tɩ ba a ko niraba n yẽ eŋa n kɔa yɛ gag ne la bõn ãn wala zorba la ba kɔa zome tɩ zɔlgo tɩ bia kõ zĩ'a bɩ bia la kɔa zĩ'a de tɩ ba zã wɩrga bãmb me wɩrg zã la de tɩ tʋʋsa la sige a wʋb la sig ka paa kolga la pʋgã kẽng ka gaad no-gen wãna yaa kolga no-gen ka zĩ'a de yel bia la tɩ a ko na boore tɩ bia la sĩn ŋmib a ko n ka boore t'a yũ de pʋʋs bia la de tɩ eŋa de la ba t'a yetɩ eŋa de la naba yi t'a yetɩ tɩ bia la a paal t'a isg dʋʋr naba la yiri a paa pʋʋs naba la me saaf t'a yetɩ eŋa kẽng me yeel la nen ka paa tẽngã ka kõ tɩ ka boonsa tẽngã n boonsa ana sõŋa tɩ eŋa bɔta a zĩ tẽngã la pʋga de niraba bõna bɩ kat eŋa ba me kat eŋa la eŋa me ka wʋn ba tɔgɔ bãmb ka wʋn eŋa tɔgɔ tɩ eŋa yetɩ a leb eŋa zẽ'na yaa t'a sõŋ le niraba tɩ ba ka zɛbɛ de tẽngã la a yetɩ eŋa pʋʋs ya la a ma'a meŋa tɩ bee kẽ tɩ biisi wa fãa wɩrgme tɩ bee kẽ t'a isg boole a biis la zã tɩ ba yina pʋn-kʋra bo mi bɩ biyɛlem daa bũmb-bila nan ta tɩ ba zɩ'a ka yele a wʋg la t'a isge la a bɩse eŋa n bot bi-sɛba t'a loobo a dɔla bisa biis la bisa ka yʋʋ yẽ bi-sɛka a ko'ol na boole yetɩ eŋa bot la bi-kãngã wãn tɩ naba la yetɩ yaa wãn yẽ la ne kʋrba zagsf loore de laoora bia wa bia yet'a eŋ la wãne t'a leb zĩ tẽngã de naa eŋa loo bia la eŋa yela bia la tʋʋne tɩ eŋa loo t'a yetɩ la wãne t'a yetɩ yaa eŋa so paa kolgã la niraba la so zo'o gãna bia wa niraba la zo'o gãna bia la ba zã wɩrgmɛ zoe de yetɩ bia kell n zɩ'a kolga la tɩ eŋa sig yɛl n yet'a a ko bo t'a a ko ne bo tɩ eŋa yũude paa n wa eŋa bɩ tɩ bia la sũur kɛ ya t'a ne tã n zab a yetɩ ya la a pʋʋs ya y fãa dɩk bia la eŋa nu t'a bia la fãa yɛl n bo'osa a bala yetɩ n ba fõn dɩkma tɩsa wa de yetɩ bɩ ala zabro tɩ ne eŋ la wãn t'a bala yɛl yetɩ yaa t'a ba ne kena ŋa isgme wʋm ŋa barumã yetɩ ba yʋʋne tɩ ba kẽp tẽngã pʋgẽ zab ba kẽ la yʋ'um ba ka kẽ wʋn-tɛɛŋa la ba ne ka põda tẽngã la pʋgã yʋ'um ba teke ba tek zɩ'l sarʋga la ba kɛ moor la ba bobe wʋkʋʋra tɩ ba na bob se'em la a yetɩ tɩ ba sɩn kẽna wa paa boon wãna bãmb paana la ba tek la zĩ'a tɩ wilgã yõor ba'asmɛ tɩ ba tek bila zĩ'de kɛ moola boba wʋkʋʋra la bob bĩŋe la ka paara yʋ'um karfã nii tɩ ba fãa kẽ tẽngã la pʋgã bõn-zĩ'ã tɩ d baood la a boong wa ba kẽna zĩ'l la bila ban zĩ'l bila la kuga la zuo ba zĩ'l bila me la ka sotna wo ba yetɩ ba zɛgẽ la tɩ ba lɔ kʋʋra la doos lɔ tɩɩs la ka mum zĩ'ã wa kir de fãa zĩ'ã la ka paara wo ba yetɩ ba zɛba gõ-toor see la tɩ ba isge doos lasem bugum la ban lasem tɩ bugum la dɩta wo Mulunga na maati ba lang pa ba to ba dite chen ke pek dite ke pek de ba fa igi jele jela po te ngang a lo kan bo pa to ba me bugro bo ta ne le bango tal bugro to ba bu sahla isige bango igi yirbi la ba nyela buglan dite ji ko ba ko na ba loglo ba fon kala to ba dik ba no ba no ko no be ne be na ho ko jola nya le ba ner ba bi le ba po ba ti be ka ki ba irige do si yela ba kan bu ne ra nyaw to de kida ba ta ba ko wu nyaw ba lebe ka pa ngala biela ka yele babala mi unde atabya biela mi unde yisa nde papa kapa pu na balete ba ma jam yang tingala ba mi jam yang tingala ba kanye nera ne ba lewro to yi ne bila na balete ya nandi ala pu ya di ngana dikna ala bo awogla lew ka saru tingala be awogla ya inga kayang di na la aldikna la po abiela biela ngatu ken ka so kumbo taitu ni ala enso adik na le bo biela de bo le bo ha wo wetia ay ta dik na bo abiela ti ngari bo abia ma yude ay na bilia ti kolga ngana sigini kolga la kanye ngana nyene biya mi jabi etengala den juo ngan biela yude na bilia ti kolga de ba bol biela asukologa la pa wa ne ji bu sa la jodi tenga nga bona dogla bi si inde to bongo wi e isa bule bong chu nda lampi ni si la o ya ba ne in sala jab de tenga onan bahre ale glo bagre nda ajam ben la tinam lana ka para mar saka tiba rawo jab di tengala no ti wan ti ka kula yumna iya ti di azambela ba mi in wala bahla ba pa lebna di en di mo pa nyo rabu itawo ba ti gab di jesira won kurma yu jab di tengati tera yel tiwa wala ti nati lana ka para zambela ti di ti kula no le dusi ti chatima la ti menga po ba la ti bisi ti ba obtira ndet ba bola eti adintira ti yumbo la adintira ti la pa dina ti la tara jambina da yu meng la ko da la adintira ti di dar pokal bieni di bane tira bane ku obnen tira bane di char tira to mala gana doro suma sara kawona tiba ita mbun yelma kilba yel ya bono dikke so dura peha bana veba jele la de aking na mak unwo amak la siwo markanga no ka kinte na ko kenana ana tarwala ka wo nganje cheno tirtala la wiya una ana ka pa wolgo tidikindi le kin ka pa burga tirkindi ona di mboko una le gura holle ka ye una la na honon da se ndana de bonvoi o mome to bla la na pin senti ajin tekla wa anala jambin la wa dita ba ani dita wo ngadi se wa no wo la ta di adi pasien no wi tin ko di tension la na gang yum pia to ani dita ona a siwa a vutlabra una an vutlabra una ana kapa una ti di una le table le kapare wo chaman por wana ta di tin por kere ki tani di ana le tulgu tin por kere ki le pa ana kapa wala ale jorome tin le bunki la pa wo kama ti bunki la pa marsi chaman por po ana le kapu pa wala ana di mbuyi na le kan kapara la ta la buta wi a Bolga ta la buta wi a sele ha adit la tulula ta na di adit la nor wi da bumar yenga hon di vina le tulga mar yundena mar kanga no te le dita ta na di wala alitera